Hi, my name is Michelle Fondin, and I'm the author of Help, I Think My Loved One is an Alcoholic, a survival guide for lovers, family, and friends. And welcome to the Step Study. Today we're talking about Step 3 of the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and Al-Anon. You've probably gone through the first two videos, and if you haven't yet, go back and watch steps 1 and 2. Step 3 is a natural progression from steps 1 and 2. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable, which is step 1. And step 2, which is we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. That leads us to step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Now this is, in short, you can shorten those 3 steps to I can't, God can, and I will let Him. These 3 steps are crucial in recovery, whether you're an alcoholic trying to recover or whether you are someone who loves an alcoholic and you're trying to recover yourself from the madness of this disease. So let's really step into step 3 and explore step 3. Step 2 and step 3 are closely related in that in step 2, as you remember, you are giving credence to the fact that you can't do it yourself. And so you're searching outside of yourself for a solution. And once you step outside of yourself for a solution, you come to realize that you are one person and you can't do this all alone. And so you reach out to a higher power, a power that is greater than yourself, whether you call that power God, Spirit, Universe, Mother Nature, or the spirit of the rooms in the Alcoholics Anonymous rooms or in the Al-Anon rooms. As we progress through these steps, the spiritual awakening, which is necessary for recovery, begins to unfurl and unfold in mysterious ways. So it's one thing to recognize God. You can recognize God in step 2 and come to a spiritual awakening in that you realize, okay, there is a higher power out there, something that's greater than me because I didn't create the universe. But it's that step of you making a decision to turn your will and your life over to God. So it's that decision-making process. So what is a decision? A decision is a change of mindset. A decision is a change of mindset in order to take an action step to do something. And so it's all well and good when you realize you're powerless over alcohol, and then it's all well and good when you realize, okay, God's out there somewhere. But it's putting the pieces together and making that connection that, oh yeah, God can actually help me. And I'm going to take a step to let Him help me. And I'm using the word God. That is my personal belief. And the words as we understood Him really can refer to you if you're having trouble with the word God or you're having trouble with this concept of one spiritual being that reigns over all. So just know that if your concept of God is different than mine, then just replace your word with my word. That's all you need to do. Just keep an open mind. Words are just words, and words have meaning for us. The concept, in essence, is really the same when you think about the power that is much greater than you, that is metaphysical, that is not something that you can wrap your hands around, but that you could wrap your heart, your mind, your spirit around. So making that decision is really the essence of step 3 of turning your will and your life over to God as you understand Him. And so when we make a decision, like let's say you make a decision to go get a cheeseburger. You make that decision, but then you just don't sit there, right? You don't make a decision and go, okay, I really want a cheeseburger, really want a cheeseburger, and then you just sit there and you do nothing. Chances are if you sit there and do nothing, then that cheeseburger is not going to mysteriously appear in front of you. For some people it might. Most people it won't. So you make that decision, but then you need to take the action steps necessary in order to do that. So it's really interesting because this is something that is very spiritual in nature, turning your will and your life over to God. What are the steps you can take in order to do that? What are the action steps to do that? Well, one thing you can do is prayer. Even if you don't know how to pray, if you are in a dire situation, believe me, you will know how to pray. Let's just suppose you get into a car accident and the car is smushed in and you're trapped inside and you don't know if the jaws of life can open up that car to get you out before the car blows up. Believe me, at that moment, you will pray. You will pray anything you can pray in order to help you get out. You could scream, yell, shout, help me, someone out there, help me. And that is a prayer. A demand and asking for something that you need, that is a prayer. You can just get down on your knees and just spill out your guts. You could write a letter. You can keep a journal. A lot of people find it really helpful to create a journal and write to God, write letters to God. That's a practice that I've done for a very long time. I'm a writer by nature, and so for me, it's just a natural progression of having a relationship with God and using the pen and paper in order to do that through my writing, which is prayer. So you can shout, you can scream, you can whisper, you can get on your knees, you can write a letter, you can mutter words under your breath, you can do a meditation walk. Is one way of asking God to take over your will. Because here's the thing, God gives us free will choice to be in relationship with Him or to not be in relationship with Him. We were blessed with that free will choice. And really, that is the essence of unconditional love. That is the unconditional love that God gave to us and for us in order for us to be able to live our lives the way that we see to it. However, there is a little caveat to that, is that God's calling is for us to love Him. God's calling is for us to seek Him and find Him and love Him unconditionally in the way that He loves us. So we have this free will choice, but God can't interfere with our free will choice because He gave it to us. It's as if you were to give your child a gift and you take back that gift. You know, let's say you get your kid the new iPhone and all of a sudden 5 minutes later, for absolutely no reason, you just take it away and you throw it away. And that child doesn't understand why you've taken away this precious gift that you gave to him. And so that's the same thing, is that God gave us the gift of free will. He gave this gift to us and He's not going to take it away. However, if we ask Him to take it away in the sense of not take it away, but take over that gift. So in the same example, let's say your child, for example, notices that the iPhone is interfering with his schoolwork. He can then say, Mom, Dad, which isn't likely to happen, but just a little example. Mom, Dad, I noticed that since I've had this phone, my schoolwork has gone down, or maybe you might point it out to him. And then the child can give the care of that phone over to you to give back to him when it's appropriate. So not a perfect example, but you get the point. When we give our will over to God, and when we say, here, God, this is too big of a burden, I'm going to give this back to you in order for you to allocate it back to me according to your way, according to your will. It's a big deal. That's a big thing. In order to do that, you have to let go of your ego. Your ego is going to scream and yell and kick and say, I don't want to do this. This is my life. But in order for that spiritual awakening to progress and to take hold into recovery, it's so necessary that you do this. It's so necessary that you give your will and your life over to God. And your life will be so much more organized. It'll be so much better. It will help you in recovery in ways you can't even imagine. Miracles will start to take place because your power is nothing without God. Your power is so limited to the physical things that you can do. However, when you have the power of God with you, miracles can happen because that's not coming from you. It's coming from God. Another thing you can do to release that will and release that worry, because sometimes prayer, if you're new at it, prayer just doesn't work. It's really difficult for some people. Meditation is another way, and we talk about meditation in the later steps. But doing a God box, and this is something that I was taught a few years ago, having a God box is just like an empty Kleenex box or a shoe box. And you put on the shoe box or the empty Kleenex box, God box, and each day you put all your worries on a piece of paper, your worries, cares, concerns on a piece of paper, you write them down, and then you place that slip of paper in the God box with the intention of, God, I'm giving to you my cares, my worries, and my concerns, and I entrust them to you to transform them for my greater benefit. And so that is an act, that is an action step in making the decision to turn your will and your life over to the care of God. And that's an action step in order to be able to do that. One thing that we need to keep in mind when doing step 3 is that it really is about stepping outside of yourself. And it's realizing that you are not the director. You're not the CEO of your life. You're not the one who's orchestrating all of these events. You're a co-creator with God. It's you and God, buddy-buddy, together in order to create those events. However, if there is a battle of will in that partnership, God takes precedence. God is the CEO. God is the director. And it's in realizing this, in respecting that role, that your life will open up in ways you can't even imagine. And so instead of having your willfulness and saying, I need things to be my way, I need the outcome to happen in my own way, or I need this to happen in my timing, it's about trusting in God. It's about faith. It's about taking that leap of faith and saying, I don't know how this is going to unfold. Like, if I stop drinking, I feel like I could die tomorrow. I need to have that drink in order to survive. But if I give it to God, then I don't need to worry about how He'll handle it, but He will handle it. And inversely, if you are someone who loves an alcoholic and saying to God, I don't know if I can deal with this alcoholic spouse anymore. Like, I really don't. I don't know how I'm going to manage the day-to-day with the insanity of alcoholism. But God, I give this alcoholic loved one over to you. I give the situation over to you, and I'm not sure how it's going to be tomorrow. I'm not sure how it's going to be in 1 hour, but I trust you. I trust you to be the CEO and the director of my life. And then when you let go and let God, oh my gosh, the world is so much better. It's brighter, it's cheerier, it's sunnier. The burden is totally lifted off your shoulders when you take those action steps. Because remember, step 3 is about action steps. It's not about the conscious decision. It's about conscious decision, move. Conscious decision, move. You're not going to get anything done if you don't make the action steps, if you don't make the decision to move forward. And by giving your will to God, giving your life to God, asking Him what He wants you to do each and every day of your life will move forward. You've been stuck in this holding pattern for so long. You're so sick of it. I know you're sick of it. It's like this merry-go-round that never ends, and you're so nauseous and sick, and you're vomiting from it. But there is a way forward. You can move forward from this. Embrace step 3, review it, study it, get on your knees, pray, ask God for help, ask for forgiveness, and your life will move forward. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Stay tuned for step 4. Please support me on patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin if you really like these videos. michellefondinauthor@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and many blessings to you.